While there have been plenty of stellar smartphones made available to us over the years, there are quite a few models that didn't quite earn a place in the halls of greatness. From phones that literally fall apart to models that cost $1,600, here are the 7 worst smartphones of all time. Samsung generally makes quality products. The company often raises the bar for quality and innovation for Android devices, and the Galaxy line is its flagship model. The Galaxy Note series came out at a time when screens were gradually growing up from the standard size established by the original iPhone, which was about 3.5 inches. Its unusually large size appealed to consumers and fit into a new category of larger mobile devices, dubbed phablets, a portmanteau of phones and tablets. The Note sold well and was among the best-selling products for a time until around 2016, when widespread reports from many sources of the phone's bursting into flames popped up. One could argue about the many merits of any given phone, but fire is generally not in the top 3 or even the top 5. In fact, fire is not supposed to be a feature of any phone at all, believe it or not. Samsung recalled them and lost a ton of money, but the damage was done, and the Note 7 shall forever be known as a bad smartphone. HTC made a huge portion of popular Android phones when the operating system was still new, including the first Android phone ever released, the HTC Dream. Soon after the widespread adoption of Android, companies with a long-time presence on the web developed mobile-optimized websites and later created full-fledged apps to run on iOS or Android devices. By 2013, Facebook had already established itself as one of the most popular websites, and its app was installed on millions of devices worldwide. It would be difficult to speculate as to why and how this developed, but it appears someone around the Facebook offices thought users wanted to have a more immersive Facebook experience at the ready 24/7. They developed a mobile home screen experience dedicated to the social media site and had HTC integrated into what would be colloquially known as the Facebook phone. This was not the first attempt to integrate Facebook more fully into a phone. You may remember the Cha-Cha, which added a dedicated button to access Facebook directly.
I like-a do the Cha-Cha.
Looking beyond the Facebook home integration, our conclusion was that the faults of the first lay in its middling hardware and stiff competition. It may have been introduced at the wrong time and underdeveloped, but as popular as Facebook is, nobody wanted it to be involved so intimately in everything they do. It is for good reason we have not seen another attempt from Facebook to dominate our devices. Amazon's first foray into the mobile phone market did not end well. It also provided lessons on how not to break into the market, or if a company should even try at all. Amazon saw great success with its line of readers and affordable tablets. Building on that success, Amazon chose to enter the smartphone business. The Fire Phone entered the scene in 2014, offering an Amazon-centric offshoot of Android, Fire OS.
This phone is gorgeous. I can't wait for you to get your own hands on it and look at it.
We found the pricing to be problematic at the time, and this may have been its downfall. However, it was not pricing alone that tanked its potential. The Fire Phone was introduced at a price of $199 with a contract, as other phones were sold at the time. However, that was a departure from the low-cost loss leaders that the Fire tablets were up until then, which meant Amazon had directed their phone to a different buyer not motivated by a low price, but by premium features. Also, the Fire OS was not integrated with Google services, forcing users onto the Amazon App Store. This offered far fewer apps than the competition and was among the many reasons the phone failed, according to Time. The Fire Phone proved that attempting to force users into a new experience while charging a premium for it takes what could be a good device and makes it worse. When a company leads its market in providing innovative products and consequently becomes a sales leader in its field, it does not want to get caught off guard by new products. However, that is what happened to Research in Motion, maker of the Blackberry mobile device.
Personnel will be issued Blackberries for company use. Gimme.
The Blackberry was so popular, especially among business users, that it became a news story when incoming President Barack Obama needed to forego using his Blackberry per Secret Service security standards. But a couple of years before the 44th president was sworn in, the iPhone came out and changed everything. What it came up with was the Blackberry Storm, the first touchscreen Blackberry. We here at SlashGear originally announced the coming Storm in 2008. This means BlackBerry had less than 2 years to develop the hardware and write the software to transition its OS from a keyboard-based design to all touch.
Whoa. It has no keyboard.
To an outside observer, this looks like a fairly short development window, and when the product arrived in stores, it showed. When Engadget first reviewed the phone, many flaws became instantly clear. The biggest seems to be that the touchscreen was inaccurate, insensitive, and unrefined. Additionally, the software lagged in development compared to the iPhone, and the general experience was subpar. Usually, when a company is forced to play catch-up with a competitor, it only gets one shot. BlackBerry missed, and it should come as no surprise that this era is over, and BlackBerry phones are no longer manufactured. Kyocera has never been a big player in the market for mobile phones, but it has been producing them for more than 2 decades. Many of their phones over the years have relied on being unique or niche offerings to differentiate them from the competition. One such attempt at offering a novel device that fits into its own category is the Echo, a dual-screen smartphone released in 2011. In our hands-on review, the novelty of the dual screens comes up as its most unique identifying feature, as the hardware supporting the phone was not necessarily premium level for its time. Furthermore, Android had not yet been developed to run dual screens natively, so the OS and a few apps had to be tweaked to run on it. Therefore, the performance of the software ends up being mediocre and with plenty of room for improvement. Perhaps the folks at Kyocera were a bit too forward-thinking, bringing to market a device before it was ready. Battery technology couldn't keep up with 2 screens, and nobody wanted a thick line in the middle of an image if an app was capable of displaying images across 2 screens. It was out of place and ill-conceived, and in the end, few bought it. The Kyocera Echo's legacy is mostly to be a placeholder on lists of terrible devices. The Galaxy Fold accomplished what seemed impossible, to fold a screen in half. To make this happen, Samsung used plastic, and that created problems from the start. We reported on problems when people in the press started peeling off what looked like protective film typical on new devices, only to find out they were pulling away the top layer of the screen. Others found their units with peculiar bulges along the seam, and more still discovered thick black lines running from hinge to hinge. Having pre-release press review models broken before the official launch date is not a good look for Samsung. The plastic top layer of the screen is somewhat rigid, but it is still plastic. It does not take much to score, scratch, or cut it. Close the phone with a small random object, and it can pierce the fragile screen with ease. The benefits of the phone are great, but the need to handle it with kid gloves and the steep price of entry, about $2,000, doesn't make it worth it. We found the Fold to appear to be rushed to market, leaving little time to discover its flaws. There are plenty of durable, high-spec devices available for a more reasonable price, and the Fold just doesn't seem to be worth the leap. Until Galaxy comes back with some kind of magical material to address the inherent faults of plastic, the Fold can remain on this list. Sometimes a company comes along with novel applications of existing technology to create something exciting. Other times, a company comes along with novel applications of existing technology and utterly fails, providing a product that nobody wants, doesn't work, and costs too much. This is the story of the Red Hydrogen One, a phone created to meet a demand that didn't exist using technology that didn't work. The company behind the phone, Red, had established itself as a premier maker of digital cameras, so those in the know had high expectations for its first foray into the mobile phone market. Instead of building on their stellar reputation in cameras, Red introduced a phone with a weird holographic 3D-like display. In a Verge review of the phone, it was said to be wonky tech that, when it did work, could make the viewer feel a little sick. Furthermore, the 4V tech, as it was called, only worked with a few apps developed specifically for this phone. It is also heavy and had side buttons that were all too easily depressed by accident, but those are minor flaws compared to the rest. All in all, it is a phone that nobody wanted with features for which nobody cared. And all of this was done poorly and for too much money, around $1,600. SlashGear reported that Red would ultimately stick to making ultra high-end cameras and leave the phones alone. Definitely a good decision. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more SlashGear videos about your favorite smartphones and other devices are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.